Hey, Tom here, FlipAnythingUSA. So today we're just going to have an open chat. Any questions anybody's got on real estate investment? It can be anything. It could be partnerships, when you need a partnership, when you don't need a partnership. And I'm talking about the legal form, whether you form or limited partnerships. I get a lot of questions. People want to know, should I open up a partnership? Should I, spend the money to create an LLC or a corporation, which don't hold property in a corporation. There's never a good reason to do that, in my opinion. And holding them personally, you can hold property at first events, which you can always hold personally and in your own name. That's not a big deal at all. But any questions you got surrounding that, real estate, I've been doing it 41 years, so I've been through a lot, and I'm always happy to share. If you don't have my book, get my book here, Wake Up and Smell the Real Estate. It's been a bestseller on Amazon, Audible, and Kindle. But listen, this is open subject. We can talk about anything. I actually got some list of things. Also, I'm testing out the new live stream, by the way. I've got a direct feed here, so it may be better than it has been in the past. We've had a lot of problems in the past, so I appreciate you telling me about any audio or visual issues with this. That would be helpful, and we'll be right back.
Stop and listen. Time is on a mission to eliminate all the snake oil and the fake gurus that fake y'all. He'll show you how to build an empire, starting with nothing but a desire. All you really need is a good mentor, not a used car bullshit. With time, you'll learn to crush it. Investing like Warren Buffett. With real estate, you cannot procrastinate. Everyone who hesitates is left at the starting gate. Hey, yo, so don't delay and join today. The Mentorship and Flip Anything USA. Go.
All right, so it's interesting. I started to make a video here. One of the reasons it kind of sucks, when I go to do something live, oftentimes I'll have a poor feed, and as a result, I'll as a result, it'll screw up what would have been otherwise a good broadcast. Let me grab my books here. Here one sec. But I'm looking for what you guys want to hear about. So look, also, sometimes I'm critical of other YouTubers. I was kind of a scathing criticism on Grant Cardone, and I know some of you guys, Tom, we don't want to hear your criticisms. We really want you to just focus on the real estate. That's what we're hungry for. And I get it, I do. And but I have to tell you, there's some important stuff in there. There's lessons, even within that criticism that I did of Grant Cardone, and we can talk about that a little bit. And not that if you don't want to talk about it, I get it. But let me just show you something here. I've chapterized this thing, which I don't normally chapterize. This is kind of a new YouTube feature. But if you look at the whiteboard stuff, because listen, that's one of the things that people are most challenged with is the numbers, is the math. And that's why people make terrible decisions in investing, and a lot of people, it's very simple. The math is very simple. It doesn't matter how big the calculation is. You just have to discipline yourself and understand that this is just math. So Anthony, hey, how you doing? Glad you're here. Chris, glad you're here. Again, if you guys got anything you can share with me regarding the audio and visual, let me know. Let's see. Anthony wrote, Tom, how are you calculating ARVs in the current market, given all the changes? Anthony, it really doesn't matter. You just got to look at the market. In other words, I look at what it is right now, and everybody knows this. Chris is in the class. He's already made several $100,000, by the way. And that is, there's no bad real estate. There's only bad deals. But what that means is you got to know value. You must know value. And if you don't know value, you're going to be lost. You're just going to be lost because you don't have the ability to say yes immediately when you know it's a good deal. And so you're spinning your wheels. You don't have the capacity to make an offer. And so when you're let's see. So anything, and that goes for any repair values or anything else. You have to kind of know. Look, lumber went way up, then it kind of went back down. And most people, if you're a good contractor, and I'm a general contractor, I build homes and buildings and things, and I'll have a clause in there if I'm doing work for somebody that this quote is subject to an increase in the cost of lumber or the cost of copper and how that may affect the job. And that's just smart to do. And by the way, also, you got to understand that too, because I've been on both sides. I've been a contractor, a subcontractor, and of course I've been an investor, and and I've paid for probably tens of millions of dollars in improvements and repairs and new construction over the last 41 years. And so I'm sensitive to both sides of that because I've been on both sides of that. When you're a subcontractor, this idea that, no, you're sticking to the contract, you're stuck, you got to do what I'm telling you. Listen, that's a good way to bust somebody, and then everybody loses. So you got to be careful with that. I just take every situation on its own. Let's look at some of these other questions. Bring back the whiteboard, Tom. That's what turned me on to your video. Hey, guess what? I'll do one for you right now, Chris. I got a whiteboard for you. Now, we'll visit something here real quick. Bring back the whiteboard. What's your view on the economy? Advice for 39, 40-year-olds? Yeah, of course. Oh, Blake, yeah, I just got my purple belt recently, by the way. So, yeah, I'm in jiu-jitsu. I'm 3 times a week. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturdays, I'm there. Oh, good. Thanks, Ryan, for commenting on the audiovisual. You too, Anthony. Glad to hear it's good. No, I don't buy IRAs. I don't buy gold or silver or Bitcoin. To me, those are desperate investments, to be honest, Blake. Listen, there's nothing better than real estate. And let's see, Chris wrote, Tom, I'm investing in an area where rentals are slim to none. People are lined up, long-term rentals. Good for you. Should I buy houses, turn them into rentals, or build duplexes, quads, and rent those? Just how it pencils, right, Chris? Not everybody wants a yard. Look, I love land. I love real estate. I love, when I buy property, I get as much land as I possibly can. I might even fence a portion of the land out of it for somebody, just so that they don't have much yard to take care of. If there's multiple properties on a piece of land, or even if it's one house. One time I missed a deal, and I've been kicking myself for 35 years, but I had a chance to buy 4 houses on 160 acres, and I blew it. And that guy made a few $1 million. And this is when a few $1 million would be like making $10 million right now. That one's painful for me to even think about. But again, that went back to my first comment earlier about you got to know value. You got to know values. So I want you guys to watch this for a second. You can give me comment, criticism, whatever you want. I don't care. I'm here to grow. And, you tell me what you think. So this is from this Grant Cardone video I just did. But what I want you to see this, and this is going to give you your whiteboard, Chris, by the way. So just watch this, indulge for a couple minutes here. And because people are usually lost with the numbers. And that's why a lot of times they don't understand what they're looking at. So I'll fire this up, and we'll come back and comment. Follow me on this for a minute. To my other camera. Listening to Grant, listening to his logic, right? Here's 2020. 2020. This is Mr. Sell Your House. Okay? This is what the values do. But like this. This being 300,000. If you listen to him from 2020 to 2022, so if you got a house, sell it. If you listen to him, you would have lost $150,000. So you would have sold your home, and there's $150,000 you wouldn't have made. Now, you saw how then in the end, he said, invest with me at Grant Cardone. I'll never let you down. We're going to do a little investigation. We'll look at those numbers. Because also what's happened in this same rate, let's talk about the interest rates. Interest rate, let's see, I think it was about 3%. Actually, I think it was a little less than that. Let's say 3%, 3%. This is the interest rate. Actually, I think it was about 2.85. Round for Grant. And now here we are, up here, interest rate here, about 5%. So it's kind of weird narrating my own video that I just did a few days ago, but to give you the short of it, basically in 2020, Grant's telling everybody, sell your house, sell your house. He kind of had a meltdown when the pandemic hit. And if you'd listened to him, if you had a $300,000 home, over the next 2 years, that $300,000 home, on average, would have been worth about $450,000. So if you listen to him and you sold your house, and now keep in mind the interest rates were pretty low. So if you'd have sold it then, you would have missed out on that $150,000 appreciation. Now, it's a double whammy in this much. Is A, if you sold your house, you could have made 150, but if you took your money and you invested with Grant, typically what I've seen from his deals, I've only seen about 4% return. If he pays more than that, somebody share or Grant can straighten that out. But if you had $60,000 equity in your home when you sold it, you would have only made $12,000 on Grant, or I'm sorry, you would have only made $4,800 because you would have made 3% on your 60 grand that you pulled out. That's 3% on six. No, actually 4% on $60,000 would be $2,400 a year times 2, $4,800. Likewise, if your home was paid for cash and you sold it, you still missed out on the $150,000 gain. But even if Grant gave you 4% return on your $300,000, you would have only made $24,000 over that period of 2 years, and you would have made basically 6 times less than you would have had you just held the property. So this is, the numbers get lost on people, and that's why there's just, even if it's some of you guys don't like me criticizing other people. I get it, whatever, but you don't see the emails I see of people that are just jaded, heartbroken, crushed, financially damaged, that are young, that don't have an extra $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, $10,000. It's a lot of money, and it's just I don't want to see anybody be destroyed, losing their seed capital. So anyways, that's all. But let's go back to comments on this, get some feedback. Also, I hear the audio is doing good. Yeah, I know. I'm critiquing my own video. That's right, Barry. 6.42 for a 30-year. I don't know. I don't even bother with houses. I pay cash when I buy houses. I don't even bother with. For me, whatever I pay for a house is never going to be more than, probably 5% now, because that's what it's costing me for a line of credit these days, unless I'm using an existing one that's 3.5 or 4%. Barry wrote, Blake, I think Tom has said in the past he doesn't have any other meaningful investments outside of real estate. This is true. I mean, it's not completely true, but yeah, there's never been a more profitable product for me to invest in than real estate. I just have never been able to match it. Yep. Anyways, so it looks like the audio video is doing well. So I was going to do a video on this. I was afraid to do this one live. Maybe I'll do this live now. Maybe not, because there's an interesting story with this. But this is an area in Idaho. This is Orofino, Idaho. And I actually bought a house here. It's been 30 years ago, probably, right about 30 years. And I came out there to help a buddy of mine. All my friends say, hey, I'm buying a piece of property. Everybody wants to know, what do you think? And so I went out. This is like God's country. Beautiful, amazing fish, and there's bear, there's elk, there's, if you're a hunter and a fisherman, this is like the paradise of all paradises. I'm a fisherman a little bit. I'm not big on hunting. I don't care if anybody does, but it's not what I do. But this little tiny town, you'd think it'd be like Mayberry RFD, but in fact, I'll do a video on this, a better video on this in the future. I'll give you a real detailed video on this, But for instance, look in the center of this town. I did a search on bars. This is a tiny little place, right? This is a tiny town. The big employer here is probably the high school, and then second to that is there's a prison. There's a prison in town. But the other big industry out there is logging. And what I quickly found out when I bought a place here was that there's a lot of drugs, there's a lot of problems. The people that are in the logging industry, they don't work in the winter because there's, a ton of ice and snow. They can't work. And I couldn't find a phone booth in this town. I was looking everywhere. I needed a phone booth, and my cell didn't work. And so I come down here, and I went driving all over this town looking for a phone booth. I couldn't find one. And finally I stopped at the gas station. I go, do you have a phone booth inside, or where the hell's the phone booth? He goes, oh, no, go to the bar. I go, the bar? I go, shit, it's 9 a.m. He said, go to the bar, okay, or any of the bars. And so I go down there, and I stopped. The first bar that I stopped at, maybe we can go down here. Let's see, actually, let's take it to the street. And what I was shocked to find was, I was relieved to find that there was a phone booth, but I was shocked to find out that this bar was packed at 9 a.m., almost like it was ladies' night. I mean, it was quite full. Maybe not quite that full, but every seat was taken at the bar, and there was a couple people sitting at the tables, and we're talking breakfast time. And they weren't serving breakfast. They were drinking. And so I'm kind of like, whoa. And anyways, so I made my phone call, did my thing, came back a little later, and on the street here, see if I can find the same spot. And now I got, my wife, and I hadn't had any kids at the time. This is exactly what it looked like. This is exactly it. So this is a cute little town, but everything was pennies. I mean, you couldn't build what you could buy. Everything I could buy. I bought a duplex and a house together for $55,000. And gorgeous, perfect property, everything. And the real treasure that I found in that deal ended up being the attic, and I'll tell you that another day. But I'm coming down the street here, and I'm telling my wife about the bars, and I couldn't believe how everything was open. And now it's probably 10:30 in the morning, and this guy's walking down the street here, and he's got a blow-up sex doll. And he's just smiling big and walking happy as can be, and he walks across the street and walks straight into the bar. And I just realized, oh, yeah, this is no place to raise kids. I hate to say it, because I'm sure it's a nice town. I'm sure there's nice folks there. But the other thing that happened was when I got to the home that I bought, I pull up there. I'd already bought it a month earlier. My wife had seen it for the first time. And I come in there, and this young gal is kind of limping around next door. She's limping, walking around limping. And I talked to her, and I said, oh, hey, you okay? Your leg? She goes, oh, I got shot. She just said, oh, I got shot in the leg. I was like, well, how'd you do that? And she said, well, I just got shot. And then, I don't know, about maybe a day later, I see what it turned out to either be her husband or her boyfriend. And he comes up to me, and he's got his eye kind of closed up, and he's like, y'all want some free cheese? And I go, what? He goes, you want some free cheese? And I go, free cheese? Cheese? And he said, yeah. And I go, well, maybe. He goes, well, up there at Weeip, I think was the next town up. I don't know the area. He goes, Weeip, they're giving away free cheese. And basically it was a welfare wagon giving away cheese. So what I found there is I found kind of poverty. I found drugs. And it turned out these two had a squabble, and he put a bullet through the door, and he actually shot her in the leg. And this is the guy that shot her, I found out later on. So anyways, it's just a cluster. So you think out in these beautiful areas that are remote and everything else, they are still just as, even worse. They're as affected by drugs as your downtown cities that are, among the worst. It's pretty interesting. But hey, looks like so far so good. We're doing pretty good with the the feed. Everything's going. Hey, by the way, folks, if you just got here, please hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. I'm looking for my subscribe button here. Hit that subscribe button. Takes a second. You can always dump me later on. Listen, I'll never lie to you. I've been investing in real estate for 41 years. Bought my first property at 19 years old. Made tens of millions of dollars at it, and I've got fantastic students. I have a mentorship, and those people have done fantastic, and some of them are in here watching right now. And it's just the greatest thing on earth because I'm kind of reliving, what I do best, deals, and I'm kind of living it through the eyes of the other people that I help now, which is a kick. So let's keep reading here. Chris Parker. One thing I've learned, capital gains tax means nothing if you keep rolling your 1031. Yeah, you got it. Yeah, if you can roll it, you can roll it. If you can't, sometimes it's better to take your lumps, but, as long as you got something good to roll it into, and Chris, you've done fantastic. Chris got a nice chunk of money, I think $350,000, $400,000, and he's rolling into some new deals. He's been a great student, making great money, and he doesn't come in as often as he does because you know what? He's on a roll. He knows what he's doing. Fosh, haven't seen you in a while, Fosh. Hey Tom, can you talk about land investing? What to look for? We can talk a little bit about that too. So, on land, land is, people say, oh, I don't buy land. I only buy houses. Well, you're fooling yourself. A house is sitting on a piece of land. You know, I don't know why even people say such things, but I've heard that statement many times. You know, maybe they just don't buy just land, I guess. But the bottom line is, you know, land is a fantastic way to make a ton of money. Let me give it off the street here again. I love these old buildings, by the way. You know, I don't know. You just don't see a lot of the stuff. It's just economically unfeasible to do it sometimes. So look, I'll go out where I bought a lot of land. On Lake, I'm starting to forget things. Lake Elizabeth. So if you're interested in land, listen, man. And by the way, you guys like these stories like I just told you, like about this one, because I got 100 of them or more, and all surrounding real estate. But I got land stories. I can tell you, oh, this is a different lake. This is a different lake. There's more than one Lake Elizabeth, I guess. Let me see. Maybe that's California or not. There's a guy made $5 million on a piece of land, and he was only $160,000 out of pocket to make $5 million. But that's an exception to the rule. But let me just tell you, this little area that you see right here, and we can talk more about this stuff later. And this is open chat. I won't go real heavy into anything, but we can kind of just cover anything and everything a little bit. So just keep throwing your questions out if you got something. But this little area you see right here, look at these. You can see the houses, right? By looking at the houses, you can get an idea what the footprint is. These, as I remember, these were all about 50 by 100. And let's just do a quick check here. 112. Yeah, 5,000. See, look, this is 5,000. I'll bring it over here so you can see it. Maybe not. This is 5,011 square feet. And that's what I remember. Everything was roughly 50 by 100. You know, these are like these little tiny lots. And this is crazy. This is really crazy. These are the size of the lots you'd find down at the beach where there's sewer. And these didn't even have sewer. You had to fit a septic field inside that much yard in order for these to work. So, you know, like I say, here's a vacant lot here, and you can see you have very little front yard, very little backyard, and you have to be able to, you know, sustain the septic system, which means a leach field and a septic tank. But I made anywhere from $10,000 to $25,000 per lot, and I went through somewhere between. I don't want to tell you more than I did, and I don't want to tell you less than I did. So I just tell you, I bought between 40 and 70 lots in here, and you know, probably made $400,000 to $700,000. I don't know, something like that. Some of them I made, maybe a few I made $5,000 on, but most everything I made at least $10,000 to $25,000 on. And that's what I was doing. I was building houses out here. I was building brand new homes out here. I'd get a lot for a great deal at $10,000, and then I'd build a house. You know, get a construction loan, build a house, sell it. You know, I'd get it done in 3 months. Didn't have all the red tape that you have today, and I'd make, you know, 80, 90 grand in 3 months. It was a fantastic way to make money at the time. But what was even better is I realized by just buying lots and making sure the lots were good, I could sell 3 lots and make as much on selling 3 lots as I could build in a house. But I'd sell those 3 lots in like 1 month. It'd take me 3 months to build a house and a lot of hassle. And so that's when I think I built 3 or 4 homes here, and then I said, I'm done. And then I just got into just buying lots, and I figured out a way that you can somewhat, you know, monopolize an area like this, which I did do, and I made a lot of money because of it. Well, the bank's loan on land, they weren't really crazy about loaning money on land when I was young, you know, in the 80s when I started buying up this stuff, but they will. In fact, one of the things they want you to have, you got to have some sweat equity, or you got to have some money in it. And so the banks typically, like with the builder, they like them to own the lot, and then they'll loan them the money. You know, that's kind of their hedge against the guy walking or doing a bad job, is that, you know, if the guy walks away, he's going to lose everything. You know, he'll lose his lot. So, but in general, what's nice is I didn't mind carrying a note for a builder, and I sold most of these properties. I resold them to a builder, and that's one of the best things about land. When you buy it, when you go to resell it, there's a lot more opportunities for owner investing, owner financing. But when you go to sell it to a builder, it's a very safe bet. You can let them have terms on it, no problem, because a builder builds. He's not going to be able to build on your lot unless he has the lot paid for. I mean, unless you subordinate to a construction loan, which you should never, ever do. Don't ever subordinate to a construction loan when somebody owes you money. But this is the beauty of it, is you let them, you can give them a note, you can carry a note, and when they go to get the construction loan, when they get it funded, you'll get paid off, and then they move forward. So, and you'll get paid off before he's ever done building the lot, before he's ever done building the house. So it's a fantastic way, but land is an amazing area, and it doesn't, rural land, yeah. So look, you can tell this is that's a good question. So Fosh asks, would you invest in rural land or dense areas? It doesn't matter. All are good. There's opportunities, believe me. You can be in the densest part of the city, and there's an opportunity in land. You'll learn that in my book. If you haven't seen my book, Wake Up and Smell the Real Estate. Oops, it's upside down. Anyways, get this, save you a lot of time and hassle. And you'll just learn a lot quickly. And if you can up it, then you want to get in the mentorship. But yeah, back to this. So look, I made money in this, and let's go back up into the sky here a little bit. While I was making money in Elizabeth Lake on land, I was also making even more out here on the desert land, all out here in the desert. This is all dirt. Lancaster, that's where I lived. So I'd run over here, was building homes here. Did a little bit of development in this area too. But I was making money. I was buying and selling land out here in the desert, on the east side, some on the west side, and then, of course, out here, what I just showed you. But, yeah, anything. And, I mean, some of these parcels were, out here in Pear Blossom, see, check this out. This is one of my biggest land deals that I ever made. I can never really find the damn place. But right here along Pear Blossom Highway, I had a property. The way I can spot it is, maybe I found it. Oh, here it is. Can't believe it. So check this out. Wow. I've always had trouble finding this. So check this out. I bought this property right here from the street, from right behind this little house or restaurant, whatever it is now, all the way back here to the top where there's a water tank. Actually, way up here. There's a water tank, but there's also a marker here because this is the highest point in Pear Blossom. And so they have a marker there that they use for, triangulation and, showing different things. And you can already look, somebody's already got a track of homes laid out here. See what they did? This is basically, somebody has it laid out for it to go up here, go into a cul-de-sac. They got some lots. This is all, believe me, this is what we call a paper lot. Paper. In other words, it's a paper subdivision. So right now, this is another strip similar to what I have here, but it's a paper subdivision yet to be developed. But back to the property I bought, I approached, well, I can't give you too much detail, but you want to get in the course for that, get in the mentorship. And let's just do a quick measure on this too, by the way. This is really cool. I can't believe I found this so quickly. So my lot went pretty much from here all the way up here. I don't remember, but see, now you can see this is pretty big. I don't even know if that was 1,000 feet wide. I'm going to say it was about yay wide. Now, if I did this right, this should be 70 acres. And acres, no, that wasn't even close. So the property was actually this big. It's been a while. It was even bigger than that. Wow. You know what? I know why. I got to go this way. So that's what it was. And that there is roughly 70 acres that you see right there. So here's the best thing. When I bought this property, the old guy that sold it to me, I asked him, I said, what do you think this thing's worth? He goes, I think it's worth millions. And I'm like, millions? And I'm like, I knew it was worth a lot. But he got me excited, right? And his old guy, his name was John Kiffmeyer, neat old guy. And he's long been dead, I'm sure. But he said he bought it, investment. And I said, well, I'd like to buy it. He goes, well, you should. And I'm starting to feel like maybe I'm getting conned. And I said, well, how much you want for it? He goes, I want $2,000 an acre. So that's $140,000. And this is at a time when I didn't have a ton of money. So I said, all right. I said, I'll take it. And so we wrote up the deal right there. And 25% down. Yeah, 25% down. Yeah, I put $35,000 down. He carried the balance of $105,000, and I bought this thing. And 3 weeks later, I sold it for $520,000, right? So that's roughly $380,000 profit, except I had to give a 6% commission on that 520. So there's another roughly $31,000. So take that off. Basically I made about $350,000. I got all my cash back and plus some in my pocket. And I carried a note. I carried a note for $295,000, 10% interest. So you can do the math on that. That's basically $29,500 a year. And they made, in fact, this is funny. I see a book over here. I'll show you this, guys. This is interesting. I want you to see this because you guys should be inspired by this stuff. And because this is the kind of experience, and you need to know that these things can happen, and they can happen to you. Okay, this shit has been happening to me from age 19 when I bought my first one, and now I'm 60. 41 years of Merry Christmas with the real estate. So let me show you something real quick. It's amazing to me that I even still have some of these records. But I know that note is in here. What I didn't know is that this book is here. But basically, he started paying me, after I sold it, I was getting $2,450 a month. Oh yeah, here it is. Check this out. Boy, you guys, did not expect to do this. This is a treat. Let's see. This is the contract. You see that? This is my contract, a handwritten contract. I bought this. Yeah, there it is, $2,000 an acre. I put $40,000 down, apparently. Yep, and there's our signatures. And then you can look here, when I sold it, I want you to see this. Don't want to give away any names here. Probably don't matter now. But take a look at that number right here, $295,000. So when I sold this, I got a note for $295,000, which was now all of a sudden I had $2,450 a month, roughly $30,000 a year from one note. So I did one transaction, put about $90,000 in my pocket, and now I had $2,450 a month coming in. And let's see when that was. I can't remember how old I was. Let me see. I remember being pretty young. That's in 1990, so I was 28 years old. I was 28 years old when I made that. Now, I was already a millionaire. And bam, another $300,000 on top of what I'd already made over that time. So anyways, again, if you don't have my book, get my book, Wake Up and Smell the Real Estate. Everybody should have it. If you're serious about making money in property, and I know you all want to, and you know I'm harsh on the gurus. You don't see me collaborating with phonies. I won't do it. I'm not going to do it. I will never do it. I don't need them. There's a handful of guys out there that I know are legit, that I have respect for. Ben Mala is definitely one of them. But again, he's more entertainment. I'm more education. But not taking anything from Ben. I like Ben a lot. But anyways, just know that it's real. Just know that it can happen to you. You know, look, Ben started later than I did, and Ben is actually younger than me, and he's richer than me. So he's been doing it for less time than me, but he's richer than me. What's the difference? Ben had a mentor. That's why I love mentoring. I'm helping people just fast track it, kind of like Ben got to do. So you've got a tremendous advantage there if you take advantage of it. Anyways, let's go on to something else. Actually, this is actually been going on a little longer than I anticipated. Look, if you just got here, FlipAnythingUSA, please hit that subscribe button and take a quick look at this for me, and I'll be right back.
It's the best thing I ever did.
Stop and listen. Time is on a mission to eliminate all the snake oil and the fake gurus that fake y'all. He'll show you how to build an empire, starting with nothing but a desire. All you really need is a good mentor, not a used car bullshit. With time, you'll learn to crush it. Investing like Warren Buffett. With real estate, you cannot procrastinate. Everyone who hesitates is left at the starting gate. Hey, yo, so don't delay and join today. The mentorship and flip anything. USA, go.
All right. So, look, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me, testing out the system. And Jermon, glad you're there. Just fine. Fosh, nice to see you in here again. Falcon, hadn't seen you in a while. Now, Falcon, get my book. See, now, Falcon, nothing against you, Falcon, but Falcon 1. Are prices too high to buy now? Listen, it's a terrible question. It's a very much a beginner question. I almost feel like I got to deprogram people. Listen, it's always a good time to buy. You just can't pay too much. You can make a great deal in the worst of times and in the best of times. You can make horrific mistakes by paying too much, but you can make fantastic deals in the worst of times and in the best of times. That's why people say, are there going to be good deals coming up? There's always good deals coming up. There's always good deals coming up, but they're for different reasons. There's a bunch of people that are going to make terrible mistakes and they're going to pay too much for property. There's people that already paid too much for property. They're going to go down terribly in the coming, maybe 6 months or a year. There is no guarantee. The only thing I can tell you for sure, and this is just an honest assessment, people go out there and they look like this Grant Cardone that I just criticized so harshly for telling people to sell their home, that everything was going to shit, and he was completely wrong. And that's why you got to be very careful. I have high regard for my opinion, and I'll even reserve some of my opinion, because if I don't feel 100% sure, I'm not going to tell you something that I'm not 100% sure, or I'm going to let you that I equivocate one way or another, because I don't want you to make a horrific mistake. There's nothing worse than a young man or woman, relying on somebody that's unreliable and then pissing away their seed capital and then being screwed for years. It could be a lifetime mistake. You could make a mistake that puts you in debt, that ruins you for 10, 20 years. I've seen the jaded people. Believe me, I've got emails and guys that are so angry. And you know what? I figured out why so many of these people don't out these fake gurus is they're actually embarrassed and ashamed that they were, my interpretation, that they were foolish enough that they bought the bullshit, that they bought the Kool-Aid. And I'll tell you, one of the best things you can do if you're one of those people is come forward and let people know that I fucked up. I made a mistake. I wish I wouldn't have. Because you will be saving other people like yourself from the same, kind of like what I'm doing. I'm trying to shortcut people to success because of all the trials and tribulations I've been through doing what I've been doing all these years. But likewise, you guys make a mistake. Man, let people know. Let people know who screwed you or what the problem is. Let's see. You have to be able to recognize a good deal. Absolutely. What up, Bob? Okay, what up, Tom? All right, guys. Let me take another quick look here. And then, yeah, actually, Pen, I don't know that I'm going to be here Saturday. I every Saturday, the mentees know I'm, the students, I'm available. There's a chance I won't be on this one. 1 second, please. Hey, can you hold one? Okay, done. And look, you see that? I'm a real investor. I fit this in, and I try to help people best I can, but I always stick to what I do best, which is making money in real estate. Anyhow, I'm glad I could share with you guys. But yeah, there's a chance I won't be doing the Saturday, but there's plenty of meetings you can catch up and watch. Hundreds of hours of stuff. If you're not into, go to FlipAnythingUSA.com. I will take another minute for this. Go to FlipAnythingUSA, and really, by the way, go in here and take this right here. Take the mentorship survey. In fact, I'm going to give $500 away to, starting today, not today, but start signing up for this mentorship survey, and you will be put in the pool with the others to win a $500 gift certificate from Home Depot. Okay? So get in there, fill out that mentorship survey, only if you're serious, but you'll also have a chance of winning $500. And I'm going to leave it at that, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see y'all soon.